Aloha, and Tashi Delay, and welcome to our Thursday night Hawaii Dharma Center class here on the island of Hawaii. I'm Lama Tashi. We do this every week, Thursday night 6 to 8, and it's recorded and put on our website, hawaiidharma.org. When we do these classes, somebody asked, how is Buddhism, with all of its worldly applications and cultures that are involved in it, and all the different tribes of people that that practice what they call Buddhism, what makes it efficient? What makes it practical? And the word is awareness. And so when we practice, or anybody that practices Buddhism.
Hello.
Let
me just move the door.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm late. That's okay. Have a seat. Thank you.
So anybody that practices Buddhism, or usually meditation, of which there are thousands of different cultures that meditate, which means ability to focus, the development of the awareness is usually the purpose of these practices. In the Tibetan tradition, it's not only about awareness, it's all about the energy of feeling. And we'll talk more about that as we do this class. But somebody says, well, if you're a Buddhist in Thailand or Japan or China or Tibet or Russia or India, what is the common theme? Well, it actually is twofold. We all have awareness. We all have awareness of who we are. That's what makes us different from animals, but we still have the animal energy in us because we evolved from that. But awareness that we have as a group of humans on this planet is all about I, me, mine. We call it the relative awareness, or the awareness of the drama world, drama itself. So what does Buddhism do? What did the Buddha do 2,600 years ago in India, northern India, mostly in the Himalayan countries of northern India, Nepal, Bhutan, Sikkim, those countries, Ladakh, Kashmir, is he introduced a system of, or methods of teachings, which actually he did this over a 45-year period as he traveled around, that caused the ordinary awareness that all of us have to elevate, to move into another aspect of the human consciousness, which is innate in all of us, but mostly in women. And I say that because women are in charge of bringing us into this world. My mother created me. She never let me forget that. But in the process, what do women have that men have to develop? It's called intuition. Now, this intuitive awareness is an aspect of consciousness which is all-pervasive. That means it can think of anything, it can go anywhere, and it can answer any question. And women are, this is my own personal involvement with the opposite sex, as I say, my own mother is starting, is they know things without somebody having to tell them, or they read about it, or somehow acquired the information. They already know. Which in my estimate, and my relationships with women, which have all been really wonderful, is that it's very helpful to me that they have that they have that. But not all of them use it. Not all of them accept this gift of the female condition of the intuitive awareness. But in Buddhism, that's the whole purpose of all of the Buddhist teaching. And now I'll come back to Tibetan Buddhism. Now, what the Tibetan tradition did, with a little push from the Hindu tradition and other traditions of India, mostly tribal, of course, is they took this 45 years teachings of the Buddha into Tibet. Now, Tibet is not a very nice place. It's a desert. And it's extremely cold. Okay? I mean, like New York is now, today. Only most of the year. And so it's kind of like a survival training program to be born or live in Tibet or to go there. But they had to survive. So the Tibetan tradition of healing energy showed them how to do that, showed them how to grow their food and get the rain for their crops by working with the spirit energy of that country and survive the winter, which is 8, 9, 10 months long, which to us is unfathomable. Okay, unless you go to Alaska. Alaska will give you a good hint of what it's all about. And the way they introduced this was called the 3 Yanas program. Now, the word yana means vehicle. So most people, when they start to, women especially, when they start to develop this little more intuitive state of consciousness, we'll call it higher consciousness, compared to the lower consciousness of the drama world, which is 8 billion humans, is the energy of what you're involved with, what you read, who you're having relations with, the kind of work or play that you're involved with, the artistic expression or abilities that you have. All of that is energy. Well, this universe is an energy field. Okay, the whole universe. And to tap into that energy, the Buddha gave these 3 vehicles. Now, the Hinayana is like Hinduism or Sufism or American Indianism or Hawaiianism or any ism, okay? Catholicism, you get me? It's a way of using the energy of that kind of tradition to elevate, become more knowledgeable and more maybe kind and considerate, hopefully. That's not always the result. So anyway, that's Hinayana. And the word Hini comes from the word Hindu, because that's where the Buddha started. And when you move to the next level of energy, you move into what is called the Mahayana. Now, Maha means great, okay? So what does Hini means lesser. But anyway, it's not like that. It's a more practical way of involving yourself with the energy of the universe itself so that it produces well-being and a feeling of bliss. They call it bliss energy, and good health. And the good health then starts to be more practical because it's not just physical, mental, and emotional good health. It's spiritual. Now, spiritual has to do with spirit. That's where the word spiritual comes from. And the spirits are the majority. They're in you, around you, and in everything. They pervade the whole world, the whole universe. You can't go anywhere in the universe there are spirits. Okay? You can go into the sun, there's spirits in the sun. Okay, so we have these spirits. Now, what are spirits? The spirits are sentient beings who at one time or another were animals or humans. And because of the way we emotionally interact with the energy of the universe, it causes this kind of being to evolve. Okay, but they're the majority. Well, the spirits are what the Tibetans use to get their rain because the elemental spirit energy of this world controls everything in the earth, in the air, the weather, everything. Earth, water, fire, air, and space are all the spirit world. But we get some of them. So how do we get it? Well, we get some from the sun, that's the fire energy. We get some from the food we eat, that's the earth energy, the water, the liquids we drink, that's the water energy, and so forth. So, when you move into the Mahayana vehicle, because it's that way with the spirit world and with us, it's an all-pervasive program. And what it does is helps you to become more in sync or in harmony with what's already going on around you. For instance, here in Hawaii, before the humans came, there were spirits and animals. There were some animals, birds. And now we have a lot of humans here. Okay. So what has happened to Hawaii is extinction. It's called extinction. And it's the highest extinction rate on the planet. We're at 90%. In the ocean and on the land, both. And this is because of us, humans. So what to do? Well, the Hawaiians worked with the spirit energy so that they could get their charo and their food and their, what they needed out in the ocean. But that's how they found Hawaii. And who guided the boats to get here was the women, because they already knew where Hawaii was and how to read the currents and the wind and whatever. See? Why am I saying this? Because the Mahayana practice is mostly what Tibetan Buddhism is about. And it involves a level of meditation practice and using the imagination of your own mind to come into that program. And it's exactly like a computer. That's how we made computers. Because the same kind of energy is going on with your television, your computer, your cell phone, and so forth. So if I take my cell phone and hold it up, I say, look, it's like this, but it's not this. But it's like this. How is it like this? It's because it's all codes. You know, in the world around you, it's all very colorful. Well, that's codes. The insects pick up on codes to find food. And so do a lot of other animals. But for us, the codes fall into 5 colors. And actually, this is where graphic arts came into being, which is why we have all this beautiful stuff. And these color codes are available. The sky is blue, reflects into the ocean, so the ocean is blue. Clouds are white, whatever. The trees are green. You have the different color codes of the flowers and the birds. The earth here on quiet's red, because there's so much iron or whatever. So we already have these codes around us. And when we go out in nature, these codes feed us energy. And that's where you get this exhilaration from being out in nature. That's why we have 50,000 tourists on Kauai. Well, now it's down to 35. Thank you. But it'll probably go back up. But they're coming here to feed off the energy of the island, hopefully, like we do. So this program does that on the computer. But how does it do it on the computer? With zeros and ones. It's called code. And they're arranged in millions and millions of a logarithm by code writing. So that what you see on the computer is the result of that code. And if you don't like that code, like on your cell phone, you can change the application of the code and get what you want to come up. Well, your mind is the same way. So in Tibetan Buddhism, the whole program of the Mahayana is based on the ability to focus, which is called meditation, which most people can't do, okay? Their attention span is like snap of the finger. Okay, and some are pretty good. They can last 5-10 seconds. Get me? But being in the present with your imagination functioning produces something out here. And you don't have to have faith about it. You don't have to believe. This is not dogmatic. And if you think that I'm kidding you, you go to Honolulu and see the Honolulu Dharma Center. Okay, which where there's nothing was there. And now it's like amazing. Okay. I mean, this Dharma Center is pretty nice with this house here on Comey Street. We call it the Comey Street cave with Abby, myself, and Ringo. Where's Ringo? Ringo, and there's Mochi over there. But imagination. Now there's one more kaya. And this is the one I mentioned about the women, the all-pervasive nature of the mind, or the intuitive nature, is something like what religions apply to the idea of a god or goddess, a supernatural being, which is impossible. The world doesn't work that way. But if you have this imagination of a supernatural being, you want to say it's divine, and it's omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent. Now, those are Latin words for powerful. Okay? That's the third level of your consciousness. That's the all-pervasive. And that's how women create us, that all-pervasive nature. Of course, there's a lot of other functions that go along with that, like having sex and so forth, but that's where it all starts. So when we say the all-pervasive nature of the mind, we call that the Dharmakaya, which already appeared. Everything that's already, you can already see and understand or not. And that's what we do with this class. We take people from wherever they are, kids in school, we teach this in the public school system. We teach in grade school, high school, and it's at the university, Kauai Community College. And so that the person can evolve fast on their own. And they don't have to be pushing. This is not a job requirement. They can just take some time. Maybe 10 minutes. Gotta start somewhere. Well, Lamarishan, I was a workaholic. He says to me, if you're going to meditate, you have to get up early and start. And you got to drive a wedge into your day. He says, you're a farmer. You're getting up and you're doing this, this, and this, and this until the sun goes down, and then you don't stop, and finally you fall asleep. He said, no. You can keep doing that, but you got to give your meditation time. How about 15 minutes? Drive a wedge into that schedule of you. I said, okay, that's right. That's what we're doing. We're going to do that now. Now, how did he start with me? How did he start? He says, well, since you do so much, I think the best thing for you to do is nothing whatsoever. Get up at 5:30, 6 o'clock, brush your teeth, do a quick poo, whatever. You have to have coffee, have your coffee or tea. And just sit wherever you are. Sit. At that time, I could sit on a cushion with my legs crossed, chair about. And just watch your breath. I said, well, I did that in Honolulu in a cave for 6 months. He says, yeah, but this time, think about the reason you're doing it. Imagine that you're doing it for everybody else. Because you are. Every breath you take in goes back out, and it's shared by all of the billions of animals and humans. Just think that while you're breathing. So we're going to do that. So just sit comfortable, hands however you like, on your knees or resting. Back straight, because this is about energy, so we want the energy, life force in your body to be in alignment. This is yoga, it's called yoga. Head a little bit tilted forward, eyes open, let the energy of the light and space in front come in and register through your being. Mouth closed to start with. And simply focus on your inhale and your exhale. But imagine the air coming in, filling your lungs, and imagine the air going out your nose from your lungs. That's all. To everybody else. So you're taking this in, and then exhaling it out to benefit everybody else. Plants, animals, humans, whatever. Now, why is this different from normal breathing? Mindless breathing is a better word. I mean, we take it for granted that the air is going to be there and we're going to remain alive because we're breathing. But there's another function going on here of the energy of you watching the air, imagining it coming in and going out. It blocks you from thinking about going out and hoeing your garden, or going to the beach, or doing whatever you're going to do. You're kind of using the imaginary process to keep that away. Why? So that you can relax on your own, so that you can come into a state of presence. You're being present with yourself. And you're actually loving yourself mindfully. And that's the basis of all of the practices of Tibetan Buddhism, or of Buddhism itself. Now, what happens is you start to become peaceful in your own right. You start to feel tranquil, calm. It's called a state of calm abiding. That's why you see all these statues and pictures. Most of them are just not much going on. But on every one of them, the eyes are open. Okay, so that's what we call the Hinayana, the start. And this loving, kindness, calm situation that you are developing in yourself is what you're extending in your relationships to everybody else. Your pets, your wives, husbands, lovers, children, associates, even adversaries, enemies, people that hate you, and so forth. But more importantly, you're extending it universally. You know, because 8 billion humans are breathing the same air you are. The animals on the planet, at least on the land, they're the same. So then the next step is, the teacher said, now imagine the code of the air. Now we're going to move to what is called the Hinayana to the Mahayana, which is the energy code of the elements that you are taking in to sustain yourself. But in this sustaining yourself, it's always in relation to everyone else I should say everything else, because everything is totally integrated into you. Everything in this universe is your life support system. Nothing you have did you make, including your body. It all came from someplace else. So take the air that you're breathing, sit just as you are, and imagine the air coming into your lungs as white light. Then the energy of the air is automatically, spontaneously spread through your whole body. All the elements in the air, the earth, the water, the fire, the air is all in the air. All of that is now passed through every cell in your body. And as this takes place, you imagine red light energy, this is a code, goes through your entire body. Even your hair, if you want. So it's white light comes in, fills your lungs. Red light is extracted as energy passes through every cell in your body, which is what's really happening. Then you combine these two as blue light, the third breath, and exhale it out your nose and think that it goes everywhere in space. It goes to the sky, it goes to space. That's it. Now you are meditating, using your imagination and your focus together, and that's what all meditation practice is based on. If it's not meditation. Inhale white light, fill your lungs. Visualize the red light of the energies of the elements passing through your entire body, either in the snap of the fingers or whatever speed you're breathing. Then combine those two as blue light exhaled out your nose to space, which means that everyone in the universe. When you feel yourself in this state of peaceful, calm awareness, because of you using these three lights with your breath, it's called prana yoga. And because of the result of becoming calm and peaceful, you start to see or understand your own nature. and how it is necessary to be in a harmonious relationship with the nature that's around you, just as it is. Then the third vehicle starts to arise from within inside you, because it's only in a code situation out here. This is a shared reality. But the real code, which we call the all-pervasive nature of the mind, the Dharmakaya, which means the wisdom nature, the intuitive nature, starts to arise on its own. When that takes place, you start to heal yourself. And the foundation of this is the loving kindness that you felt for yourself is now extended to everybody and everything. All the animals, spirits, humans, and the environment around you. Okay? That's as good as you can get in the human condition. If you want to use the word good. That's as harmonious as you can get. And the result is healing physically, mentally, emotionally, but most importantly, spiritually. And why is it spiritually? Because the spirits in your body are feeling the result the same way you are. Okay, right down to your DNA, right down to your finest, tiniest cell. And so this healing is all the thousands of practices that Buddhists do all over the world. And it works. And they don't fight among themselves because they do it different in Thailand, and Tibet, and China, and Japan, here in Hawaii, and everywhere. It's all different. You know, but it's not a religion. You know, it's not about going to heaven. We don't care. You go to heaven, okay. It's like going to Las Vegas. You want to go to Las Vegas, go to Las Vegas. That's what Hawaiians think is a great accomplishment. But we just say, just as we are, moment to moment, and say, okay. So, when you breathe in your air, you know there's the 5 elements in the air. You know the air has earth in it. You know it has water in it. You know it has light in it. And of course, it's in space already, so it's spatial. You can't see it, but it's there. So now we're going to do what is called the 5 elements healing practice. And it's simply based on those 3 lights. They're the code. All of Tibetan Buddhism transmission of healing comes through with those 3 lights. From where? From the teacher. Okay, if you want to become, I have to use the word enlightened. If you want to become a Buddha, if you want your Buddha nature to develop, you need to have a teacher. You can't do it on your own. Okay, man or woman, teacher. Well, my mother was my first teacher, and my father, and then of course down to present day. But when it comes to this 3rd level, we call it the Mantrayana, Vajrayana, or Tantra Yana, or the all-pervasive nature, or the Dharmakaya, which means the wisdom nature. You need to have a support. Because if you don't, then your ego will start to identify with it as who you really are, and that's counterproductive. Okay? We don't do that. In fact, we want to take that whole idea of the self and remold it into something nicer. So that's what we're going to do. Breathe. Imagine the air coming in as white light filling your lungs, the energy of the elements in the air filling your body, red light everywhere. That's the radiance of the element. Both together out the nose is blue light as a healing breath available to everybody you have karma with. Faith. And believe me, you have karma with everybody. Then we gather the three lights by first of all taking the focus off of the breath, gather the red, white, and blue light into a particle of energy and imagine it to be centered in the middle of your chest, creating there a chakra, is what they call it in Sanskrit, an energy healing center of light. Because that's what we actually are. We're nothing but a bunch of atoms gathered together consciously or unconsciously for most of it. And you put that energy point in the center of your physical body and think of it at the center of the entire universe of space. And that tiny particle, similar to an atom, is interacting with every particle of light throughout space, throughout the fabric of space. So there's no boundary. And you just sit with that. You're actually not meditating because you've entered into the dimension of space using the code of the light. You just sit, relax, present. And this developing of the present is the practice. And your childlike mind wants to go to future events, gently bring it back. It wants to go to past, gently bring it back. And then it wants to make something out of the present, just stick to the space. Now we're going to start the 5-element healing practice. And when you do that, we have a code. I'll show you the code, but we're only going to use one of these 5 codes. This is the code for the earth element, a yellow or gold cube. This is the code for the water element, a blue sphere, like our planet, with a water planet. The fire element is a 4-sided red pyramid. The space element, the earth air element is a half sphere like a bowl with a lid of green light. And the space element, similar to the water element, is a white sphere, which is where we started with the air. Abby, which element should we use? Intuition. Earth. Earth, okay. So this is the one we're going to use. Now, all 5 elements cannot be separate. But in healing, all medicine is applied symptomatically. And so some of us at certain times as we develop need more earth. We need to be more grounded, more, okay, which is actually coming from the food. We're going to use this psychic code of this six-sided sphere on ourselves and then share it with the world around us. This is how this is applied systematically. For what purpose? For healing. Physical healing, mental healing, emotional healing. So return with your focus and your awareness to that particle in the center of your heart chakra. And with your imagination, expand it into a tiny bubble, a tiny sphere of clear light. Then right there with your imagination, grow that bubble, expand it until it changes into the shape of the six-sided gold or yellow cube. About the size of your thumbnail. Doesn't need to be any bigger. And label it Earth. When you can see that clearly, with your imagination, bring it out, see it move out in front of your chest and up before your eyes, about arm's length in front, right where your eyes were looking when you started this practice. Imagine that six-sided cube there. Then expand it in size, the room size, so you can see yourself just as you are, sitting inside this yellow cube of earth energy labeled Earth. Receiving into your physical body this healing energy program. Then share it. Now, the sharing process has 5 steps. The first one is to imagine this cube of Earth to expand in size so it completely encloses this island of Kauai and surrounding ocean. Applying this healing energy to all the beings in that area. If you're watching this program, then you apply it to the place, town, city, or wherever you're meditating, a large area where you're practicing. There are people watching from New York, so that would be Manhattan. Then expanded in size to completely enclose Mother Earth, including her atmosphere. Imagine it to grow in size to completely enclose our solar system, which is billions of miles in diameter. Then imagine it to increase so it completely enclosed our spiral dish-shaped galaxy. And then move beyond your conceptual mind and merge it with boundless space. As you move into this dimension of space, relax. No meditation, simply Be present. Everything evolves from this dimension and returns to this dimension. Then reinvent the six-sided cube with your imagination to enclose the galaxy, keeping your focus and imagination together. Shrink it in size to just enclose our solar system. Smaller yet to just enclose Mother Earth. And much smaller to just enclosing quiet. Tinier and tinier until it just encloses your physical form, just as you are, at least beyond the reach of your hand. Be comfortable. And at this point, you're bringing in all the life force energy of the natural world into your situation, psychically speaking. To finish your practice, again, imagine it to be to its small original size in front of your eyes, 2 feet in front. Bring it to chest level into your heart chakra. Shrink it to a tiny sphere of clear light, and then to the particle that penetrates, merges with the boundless fabric of space, and relax. No meditation. Simply contemplate this natural, all-pervasive state. Without a center or a boundary. To finish this 5 elements practice, you simply bring your awareness to in front of your eyes and spread it into your place of practice. And this is how it's taught in all of the public school systems up to the level of university. And also in the Hawaiian immersion program here on Kauai. Break. Oh, they come here, all the kids, the teachers, everybody. fill up the numbers, because they're already doing it. That's the way the Hawaiians work. It's a program of about maybe 300 or 400 people. On a whole, they do it in the school there. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And they have booklets and everything. It's not like us. We're not dogmatic. Yeah, but that's the way the Hawaiians were before the Konas all died. Yeah. That's how they survived. That's how the Japanese survived. That's how the Chinese survived. So that American Indians, that's my first training. American. Yeah. The New Age, Industrial Age has kind of wiped it out. Lost gone. Here we are, back again. Good question. But they're available if you want to know more. They're really good. Now, just this much. Anybody can teach. Anybody can practice. On the spiritual level, it's very, very practical, healthy work. Okay? And some people are not ready to have a teacher, you know? I mean, they couldn't stand their own mom and dad in school and all that anyway, so now you're telling them they need a guide to move to the higher states of awareness. Why? Why do they need a guide? Because they believe that everything they've been conditioned since they left the womb is who they are. You know, mom, dad, friends, relatives, everybody has been telling you your whole life this is who you are. And you believe it. Because you're in relation to those people and you want them to, you know. But you know, you never really know who your parents are. You don't know who you're married to. Because they're telling you who you are. So you got to get by that. And then you find out, like Abby and I, we found out, who's Abby? Looks like this, beautiful, you know, blonde, smart, and all that. But, well, you're moving from the conditional into the unconditional situation. Well, the universe itself is unconditional. You know, they can say there's God and goddesses and all that. That's nice. You know, it takes the responsibility off you and places it on some hypothetical and supernatural being. That's nice. You can relax once a week or whatever. But with the reality of the situation, it doesn't take into consideration your emotional program, which this 5-element program really doesn't deal with either. Yes, it can make you healthy physically and mentally, and you can meditate and be peaceful, but there's a whole lot going on beyond that, and it's called the emotional program. And on this planet, it's off the chart. Okay? And that's why the Tibetan Lamas have gone everywhere. That's why the Dalai Lama is always on the move. That's why my teacher, Lama Rinchen, in Honolulu, that we put that book out of his life in Tibet. He's always on the move. Okay? Me, I ain't going anywhere. Here's the word ain't. Abby wants me to keep moving. She's go. So we bring it to here. We bring the energy of the teachers here. So Lama Rinchen, he's going there, doing this and that. He's got his program. But what is this other state of awareness that all of us possess? What is it? It's an absence of judgment about anything. It's an absence of judgment about yourself. It's an absence of judgment about who you're involved with, or what your business is, or what the universe is. You can relax. You don't have to say, oh, that's good and that's bad and this is high and that's low and I don't know nothing. You can abandon all that. And be yourself. No matter what you're up to. As long as your loving kindness and concern for the well-being of others is the foundation of this other condition, not unconditional nature, which we possess. That's this statue. Okay, so all the Buddhist statues on the planet are all about that. And they have codes. I know the code. That's why I'm along. And the code is in the hand. And sometimes the color of the statue. But they like gold, so most of them are gold. This one's made of 7 metals, came from India. But it isn't just about the outer form of the statue, it's also what they put inside the statue. It's kind of like not how you appear, it's what you are going to put inside of your appearance. So when you get around these statues, you start to go. No, you do. If you have any sense of.
Is that a good thing?
Huh?
Going zoom.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's energy. It's nice. It's like, wow. Like when you meet your boyfriend or girlfriend the first time. Or your kids, because that's what they do to you. But that isn't the purpose. So I said, what is the code of all of these statues? So my teacher said, well, okay, you want to know, if your hand is like this, in the hand over the right knee, and the other hand is like this in the left, this is called the earth-touching gesture. This is what the Buddha first taught when he was in India to his disciples. And what it simply means is that everything is in a state of unity. No matter how much awareness you have, you still are connecting to the 5 elements of the universe, Earth. If you're in the human condition, you have to do that on a planet. You can't do it in space and you can't do it in the ocean. You got to be on solid ground. Okay? Otherwise, you can't be a human. So that's the first one. Everything is interconnected to you. No separation. Then what if your hands are like this? Okay, so they have Buddhist statues like this. We have one in out here in our garden in number 9. This simply means that you're using both states of awareness, the conditional and the unconditional, to be nice to everybody. Okay? It's called discerning awareness. You're using your relative nature and your wisdom nature, your intuitive nature, together. That's why we, ta-da. Okay. And there's a color code for this as well. But you don't need to use the color code. You can just see, well, that Buddha's discerning awareness. Then if you raise one hand up and leave this one in the lap, you're using your discerning awareness with power. Now, politicians love this one. Military, they love this one. Police, psychos, they love this one. It's all about power. And there's 5 fingers: earth, water, fire, air, and space. And these are universal energies, and they are the most powerful. And they are, in Buddhism, the female energy. But we won't go there.
So you're mixing power with
Power.
Power and what?
Power as the result of the first 2.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Everything is together, and everything is wisdom and relative in harmony. Ta-da! Okay, but then what if this hand goes like this? So now you're moving into a state of equanimity, actually equality, which in America isn't really working because the women make 30% less than the guys. So equality, you apply that to everything, but you apply it to your emotions. You start to stabilize the emotions themselves with this one. It's called one take. How do you do that? By removing judgment, which we already talked about. So this is non-judgmental equality. There is no such thing as good or bad, because as soon as I call something good, somebody else is going to tell me it's bad. One person's good, another person's bad. That's just the way it is. But worse than that, when you judge something good, you start to become attached to it. And people think that's okay. They think it's okay to have attachment for your children, for your loved ones. They think it's okay to have attachment for your car, your clothing, your house. They think it's okay to have attachment for the Holy Union. So this one is equality, no judgment. Don't do that. After a while, you'll get over attachment. Attachment has a very serious problem. Because as soon as you become attached to something, it grows in you. It grows emotionally. And it starts to become desire. The next thing you know, you got 8 billion humans. Just from attachment. Desire becomes less, less becomes greed. Greed runs the planet. Well, America, anyway. Okay, now there's one more. This one. That's where you take the hands off the knees and the lap and you go right in front of your heart chakra. And you have a body, speech, and mind that has 3 vehicles to become a Buddha. Hinayana, Mahayana, and Vajrasattva. Why are these 2 fingers touching? Because you have to do this on a planet in a human body made of water.
Earth and water.
So this is earth and water. Working with the other 3, fire, air, and space, which is meditation. Energy. All energy. Fire, air, space. Energy of what? The mind. The consciousness. You know, right here. Everything you think, you're producing this world. You can leave it up to gods and goddesses and be religious, fine. Take a break. Go to Las Vegas. But if you want to be responsible, you've got to understand what this is doing to your body. With every thought. If your thought is nice, then the energy secretions going through your body, what the body needs. If you have harmful thoughts, you start to age. The more harmful the thought, the faster you age. If you have anger and hatred, your body starts to rust and it becomes cancer. So you could say, what is the cause of cancer? Well, you can point to the environment around you and all its toxins. The real cause is anger, which is based on simply saying, I don't like that. Aversion. Judgment. That's bad. You know? Okay, so I just showed you the code of the Buddha. But how do you get there? You see these critters on either side of the Buddha? This one has 1,000 arms. That's the guys. They really need a lot of help. That's us. Over here you have Mama, Tara. Okay, not so much. This is the intuitive awareness aspect. We use this one and this one together, and it comes up with in union. Okay? In union. When we come into union, we have a practice of purifying. Why do we purify? Is to remove toxins. Why do we remove toxins? To become healthy. So this practice, this practice comes from the Lamas. The Lamas give you this practice through what is called a transmission. The transmission is all the Lamas of all the traditions of Tibetan Buddhism back to the Buddha 2,600 years ago. All of the Indian teachers, men and women, all of the Himalayan, Mongolian, Tibetan, Russian, Chinese, all those teachers who did this, right down to the present day where everybody around the planet, 1,000 million of us, are doing this practice. And what is it? Nothing. It's just imagining that mom and dad are these two, method and mom, loving kindness, intuitive, together as light forms above your head in sexual union, because that's what everybody likes. That's what we got to eat. And they are connecting to all the energy of everybody else that's doing this same practice. Well, that's a lot of people. And I don't know how many people are watching this program, but most of them know what we're doing. Anyway, so we call this the Vajra position. Vajra means indestructible because it's based on light and space, which are totally imaginary. You can't do anything to it. Indestructible, that's Vajra. But they're also timeless, because that's the nature of the universe. It doesn't have a beginning, a middle, or an end. And then you take that energy of these two human symbols and pass it down through your body and think, or imagine is a better word, that all the toxic energy in your body that you ever used to harm anybody or yourself or the environment is being removed. And not just this life. All the thousands of lives you've had before this one up to now, which you don't know, can't remember, gone. Believe, not believe, just imagine that the only reason you're here is because you've done this before. And as you see this toxin, they're coming out every cell in your body and out your eyes, your nose, your ears, your mouth, your lower orifices, and they're sliding off of your body down into the earth, and as soon as they hit the ground, they change into nectar, spirits, worms, nagas, they call them. Whatever lives in the ground, it becomes something nice. Whatever they want, have some. Like your poop, you know, changes into fertilizer, and the trees eat it up, and the worms and everything. Just like that. Now, mantra. Mantra is part of intuitive awareness. Why? Because it's the energy of the mind expressed through the voice to change the spiritual influence around you and inside you. So the mantra that we use is called the Dharani. And this Dharani has meaning. We're going to read the translation. But it's based on Sanskrit, and just the vibration of your voice sounding this mantra while visualizing this light energy penetrating your body and all of the negative, harmful coming out is the practice. Except you have to be able to focus. You have to be able to use your imagination to get this part of the program going. This is the code. And it starts with your teacher, because that teacher is doing this already. All my teachers do this, and I have many, many teachers. Everybody says, well, the Dalai Lama. Well, the Dalai Lama is my teacher. 4 days in Hollywood. doing this with him and hundreds of other people and many, many more. So this comes down, all goes out, changes. What is left? If this is happening in your body, what is left after one session? A clean body. It's simple as that. It works. You have to believe it? No. This is not a faith-based situation. I'm going to read from we have a practice book here. By the way, we haven't taken refuge tonight, have we? Because this connects to refuge. And I didn't want to start with refuge tonight because it's Christmas. In honor of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. This is called the 100-syllable mantra of the Vajra practice of purification. It starts with the letter Hum as a symbol of no separation, everything interconnected in the heart center. I'll show you that symbol in a minute. It connects all the 5 Buddha families that I mentioned, the ones with the hand position. Okay? And the term of this is Vajrasattva and Vajrayogini, which means indestructible mother and father, as purification life forms to purify physically, mentally, and emotionally all the karma of all your past lives, including this one, up to the present moment. What is its practical application is it removes obstacles to growth through meditation practice, which we do a lot. And I'll read you what a translation. Actually, there's more than one. I'll read you this one. It goes like this. As you sound this mantra, its meaning in our language is like this. It starts with the sound Om, which is all traditions use this as the energy of light. I shall not disrespect any words of honor and use loving kindness as the basis of my practice. I will strictly and honestly keep to you, my teacher, as you remain close to your attainment. I also will acquire this attainment. Encompass me and bind me with a force of compassion, and grant me all the attainments and powers necessary to develop wisdom and to increase intuitive insight. See, us guys, we got to work on it. Please be pleased with the devotion and results of this practice. Give me all common and exclusive results as energy and power to develop and become a mature human being. Grant me all responses to all the skillful actions that I am performing now, and please turn my conditional samsaric mind into the unconditional Buddha wisdom by purifying my body, speech, and mind in this way. And then you say, Ah. Ah is the Sanskrit word for pure energy. So that's the translation. Now we're going to take refuge, because refuge is necessary for this to work. We're moving Hinayana, Mahayana, now we're into Tantra Yana. Now we need to take refuge. The first part of the refuge is the altruistic motivation, which is the difference between Tibetan Buddhism and all other healing traditions or religions. In order to attain, we read this together, in order to attain enlightenment for ourselves and limitless sentient beings, our mothers, we now all together take refuge and offer prostration. We go for refuge to all the glorious holy moments. We go for refuge to all the yidams, to all the deities gathered in our mandala. We go for refuge to all the Buddhas, those who conquered the mind and gone beyond. We go for refuge to all this supreme Dharma. We go for refuge to all the noble Sangha. And we go for refuge to all the Dakas and Dakinis who are the protectors and defenders of the Dharma. All of these possessing the eye of transcending awareness. The Bodhisattva prayer. To the Buddha, Dharma, and this supreme assembly, we go for refuge until enlightenment. May I, through merit gained from practicing the 6 perfections, accomplish Buddhahood for the sake of all beings. Now we're going to chant this in Sanskrit as a method to communicate this to the spirit. And I'll chant the first part, and then we'll do the second 2 prayers together. Dang yo wa nang ge da dang yang de zan chen dang je du di ne jun de ji si jeng chu ning do la chi ki bar du. Now we chant the refuge. All then lama dang pa nam la chak su chi yo. Yedam chokor hi lato nam la chak su chi yo. Sanje chon den de nam la chak su chi yo. Dampe chur nam la chak su chi yo. Dampe gendu nam la chak su chi yo. Bao kandu chochu chume cho yeshe ki shendang depa nam la chochu chiyo Sanjay chodam choki chodam Ajay chodadu dadi chochu chi Dagi Jinto Jite Sonam Gidoa Pinjir Sanjay Jupam Sho. So Sanskrit is not only used to introduce this Tibetan Buddhist healing program to all the cultures of the planet, all the tribes, but also to communicate to the spirit world that we're on their side. This starts the energy healing program in both directions. So the spirit help us, we help the spirit. How do they help us? Well, they help me with gardening. Mark's a gardener, he knows, farming or whatever, because they control the goodies that make the food grow. And they were all our mother in previous life. All these infinite number of spirits were once our mother. Or maybe lovers, or maybe boyfriends, and pets. But something close. So do we have karma with all these spirits? Yes, we do. Do they like humans? No, they don't. Well, there's a few. So what we want to do is let them know that we're interested in their well-being by taking care of Mother Earth properly, which we do, but also by interacting with them spiritually, which is what we're doing now. And this has been going on for 2,600 years, at least. So it's not a new agey, made-up program. Now we'll do the practice of Vajrasattva, because this taking refuge is the foundation of this tantric practice. Sit with your back straight. Take one of these, because we're going to read this mantra together. This is the actual practice, and I have printed out. Make it simple. And go to So you see this home sign here? This? Let me see if I have a big one. This sign, right here. This is a home. It's blue in color. It's your exhale. But what it means is all this healing energy is for everybody else, this home. But what it really means is it's applied physically, mentally, emotionally, most importantly, as an antidote to anger, hatred, and rage. Based on the idea of the judgment call of bad or aversion. So we want to put that sound, if you don't know what this, can't imagine this symbol, just put the sound home in the center of your chest and color that sound blue, and then maybe surround it with 5-colored light, rainbow, sphere of energy, right inside your physical body. Okay? That'll connect you to all the sources of refuge. That's where we just refuge. These 3 sounds we're going to do with the 3 lights breathing, and then we're going to do the mantra. Okay, so sit with your back straight. Hold on to that other sheet. Hold on to that. Breathe. As you inhale white light into your lungs, hear the sound Om. As it transforms into the elemental healing energy of red light through your body, hear the sound Ah. Combine these 2 sounds, these 2 colors, and exhale blue light out to space. With all beings in space, hear the sound Boom. I'll say this again. With your inhale of white light pervading your lungs, hear the sound Om. With the energy pervading your body as red light, hear the sound Ah. Combine these 2 together and exhale blue light out your nose. Hear the sound Boom. When you become accomplished at this 3 lights, 3 sound breathing technique, as you did before with the 5 elements, take your focus off the breath and combine the 3 sounds and the 3 colors into a particle in your heart center. Then from that, you expand the particle till it produces a little sphere of clear light, then a large 5-color sphere inside the sound Om in your heart center. Keep that. Then send light from the Om out to the Lama, man or woman, who is giving you this tantric transmission, this practice. Visualize that Lama connecting to all the lineage teachers, men and women, filling space, surrounding you in vast numbers, because there's thousands of them. Then the Lama sends white light from the Lama's head into your head, this Lama in front. This is the transmission to visualize yourself using this practice, using this deity yoga practice, tantric practice. In this case, Vajrasattva in union with Vajrayogini for purification. Then the Lama in front sends red light into your throat. As you receive this energy transmission, you receive the power of the mantra used with this practice. That's for your speech. Then put blue light from the Lama's heart chakra to your heart chakra. The wisdom transmission of the result of the practice are established in your mind. Then you visualize the Lama merging into you. And you can see all of these three lights shining into you. Bring the teacher, and you can use any teacher, Dalai Lama, whoever, or Lama Tashi if you want, merging into you like water into water. Now you're ready to do the practice of this tantric yoga of Vajrasattva. Open the text to the page of the mantra, which is on the second page. Maybe third page. Yeah, third page. It's at the top of the third page. We're going to read this mantra and then we're going to use it in practice. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manopalaya Vajrasattva Denopa Tikta Drido Me Bhava Sutto Kayo Me Bhava Sutto Kayo Me Bhava Anurato Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Mentrayat Sarva Karma Sutta Me Sittam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Vajra Mame Munsa Vajra Bha Maha Samaya Sattva Ah. The final sound Ah is the energy of the universe, any form of energy. Now we're going to do this in practice, and for you that don't have the mantra memorized, read this as we do the practice. From the hung in your heart, these two deities, left and right of the Buddha, appear in this symbol, white in color, dressed in silks and jewels, which is the way they did it in India, as Vajrasattva and Vajrayogini. The sound of the mantra comes from her. The method of the practice comes from him. In any case, the light of these two comes in the place of their sexual union into your opening towards the back of your head called the Uma channel. This is your life force channel which runs down through your body to the bottom of your torso. As the light enters your body, as you sound the mantra, you see it fill up your head first, then your throat, then your chest area, then your navel area, and then your lower torso, your sex chakra area. As this takes place in stages, whatever negative energy you have within your body, physical, mental, or in some cases spiritual, exits the body out through the pores and through all your orifices and sluices off down into the earth and becomes nectar. That's how you practice. And I'll give you an example. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manopalaya Vajrasattva Denopa Tikta Drido Me Bhava Sutto Kayo Me Bhava Sutto Kayo Me Bhava Anurato Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Mentrayat Sarva Karma Sutta Me Sittam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ho Ho Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Vajra Mami Vajra Samaya Sattva Ah. Now what happened is I visualized the light energy from this as a combination of all the lamas and all the people that do this practice coming through my physical form, head, throat, heart, navel, that chakra, all the negative out of the body and down into the earth. That's it. As you do more and more practice with this mantra, you are opening up with the code of all this. Your all-pervasive mind is called the Dharma Kaya, the Dharma vehicle. Your own innate Buddha nature is being activated in such a way that as you do these practices, you gain the result without obstacle, outside obstacle, distraction, inside diseases, whatever, taken away. At the end of the practice session, no matter how many times you say this mantra, you will become these two deities. You will see yourself as Vajrasattva, Vajragini, with the hum in your heart center, and you will say the short mantra, Om Vajrasattva, Vajragini, Mam, Om. That's how you finish the practice. So let's try it. Now, some of you have heard this from other teachers, but not as precise or short as we are presenting it tonight. Actually, there's a text that is quite lengthy. We're making it, this is the short form. Sit with your back straight. Eyes open. Soften your gaze to the light in space 2 feet in front. Mouth closed. Hands in a comfortable position, either on the knees or in the lap. See the hum in your heart center go out to the teachers and all the beings, all the humans doing this practice. And I think today, tonight, right now, all over the planet. And that light energy comes back into the heart, and you see the two deities above your head in union. And the hum attracts the mantra, and it coils around, connecting the two heart centers of these two deities. Then it fills them up with light, and that light energy comes from the place of sexual union down into your head, throat, heart chakra, navel chakra, sex, and all the negative pushed out, and all that into the earth as nectar, food, for the spirits and animals there. As you're visualizing like this, sound the mantra. Om Vajrayogini, Vajrasattva, Samaya, Mano Palaya, Vajrasattva Denota, Pita Drido Mevawa, Supo Kayo Mevawa, Supo Kayo Mevawa, Ani Rato Mevawa, Sawa Siddhi Namchaya, Sawa Karma Sutame, Sittam Shriyam Guru Hum, Ha Bhagavam, Sawa Tata Gata, Vajra Mame, Vajra Bhava, Mahasamaya Sata. And just rest for a moment and all that dissipate. Go back to the starting part of the two tantric deities. Om Vajrayogini, Vajrasattva, Samaya, Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Denopa, Tita Trido Mevawa, Tuto Kayo Mevawa, Supokayo me bhava, Anuratu me bhava, Sarva siddhi namchayatsa, Sarva karma sutame, Siddham Sriyam Guru Om, Bhagavan Om, Bhagavan, Sarva Tattva Gata, Vajramani Vajrabha, Mahasamaya Sattva. Om Vajrayogini, Vajrasattva Samaya, Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Denapa, Pita Drido Me Bhava, Suto Kayo Me Bhava, Supo Kayo Me Bhava, Anuratu Me Bhava, Sarva Siddhi, Hamsa Yatsa, Sarva Karma Sutta, Siddham Sriyam Guru Om, Om Bhagavan Sarvatattva Gata Vajramani Munsa Vajrabha Mahasamaya Sattva. Om Vajrayogini Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Denapa Pita Jito Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Anuratu Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Namchayatsa Sarva Kam Sutame Sittam Sriyam Guru Bhagavan Sarva Tattva Vajramani Musa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva. Om Vajrayogini Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Denapa Pita Jito Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Anuratu Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Namchayatsa Sarva Karma Sutta Siddham Sriyam Guru Om Sarva Tattva Gata Vajramani Munsa Vajrabha Mahasamaya Sattva. See, the home in your heart center is the home in the Vajrasattva's heart center. Her seat oval is Mom, which is the sound of water. And these two together connect to the spatial awareness of your natural mind, not your drama mind, your natural mind. And then that energy is brought into the deities as their symbolic life form, condensed and passed from their reference point of their union, sexual union, into your Uma channel and spreads through every cell in your body to purify so that you have no obstacle to development of tantric practice. Om Vajrayogini Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Denapa Pita Jito Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Anuratu Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Namchayatsa Sarva Karma Sutta Siddham Sriyam Guru Om Bhagavan Sarva Tattva Gata Vajramani Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva. The word sattva means mind at rest, body in action. Om Vajrayogini Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Denapa Pita Jito Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Anuratu Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Namchayatsa Sarva Karma Sutta Siddham Sriyam Guru Om Sarva Tattva Gata Vajramani Vajrabha Mahasamaya Sattva. Om Vajrayogini Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Denapa Pita Jito Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Suto Kayo. Vajrasattva me bhava sarva siddhi mantra yasa sarva karma siddha me siddha chaya kuru. Om. Sarva tata gata vajra me mudra vajra bhava mahasvaya sattva. Om Vajrasattva Vajrasattva samaya Vajra bhavaya Vajrasattva dinava Vita Tira me bhava Sutta kaya me bhava Sutta kaya me bhava Amayata me bhava Sarva siddhi manjaya sarva karma siddha Sittam Chayam Kuru Om Sarva tata gata Vajra me mudra Vajra bhava mahasvaya sattva. Om. One more time. Om Vajrasattva Vajrasattva Samaya Vajrasattva Vajrasattva Devaka Tita Tita Sutta Kaya Me Bhava Sutta Kaya Me Bhava Anurakta Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Manjaya Sarva Karma Siddha Me Siddham Chayam Guru Om Om Sarva Tata Vajra Mami Musa Vajra Bhava Maha Sattva Om. And think of all of what you have released, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual negative, out of your physical form, down into the earth as food, nectar, whatever they like. The spirits and animals that live there. Then the two deities representing the tantric application of this practice to purify all obstacles to practice and your physical form so that you're healthy enough to practice, come into you. So now you are both of these deities. Your physical form disappears. And you are Vajrayogini and Vajrasattva. The connecting link is the two sounds, Hum and Mam, in their heart centers. And the mantra is a short mantra which swirls around those two speech syllables, connecting you that way. And you say them, or you visualize yourself as the accomplishment of this practice of these symbols. Om Vajrayogini, Vajrasattva, Om. 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 Om Vajrayogini, This completes the empowerment of this practice, which is three parts. First of all, the empowerment of the Om Ahum, which is the lineage transmission of how to be the deity. What deities are you using? In this case, they start above your head, then you practice and become the deity. Then also the use of the mantra and how to use the mantra. and also the seed cell of the home, which connects you to your unconditional natural mind. Now, these three, the body, speech, and mind of the deity, are the deity, the seed cell of the home, and the mantra itself. At the end of the practice, you think that all sentient beings in the universe are these two deities. Everybody you have karma with, mother, father, friends, relatives, lovers, pets, enemies, all the humans on the planet, all the animals on the planet, all the spirits throughout space, all of that is the mandala of this deity. The Buddha of this deity is the Buddha behind me, Aksobhai. It means a state of complete unity, no separation, on any level, or through any experience, no separation. Also, no judgment, no good, no bad, no high, no low, no ignorance. Then to end the practice, you simply bring all these beings into you as Vajrayogini and Vajrasattva. So they're all that, and they all come into you, like rain into a lake. Then you as the deity dissolve into the mantra Om Vajrasattva Vajrayogini Mam Om, which was connecting. Then you as Vajrasattva disappear into that mantra. You and Vajrayogini both. Then the mantra disappears into the Mam and the Hum. And those two syllables surrounded by a five-colored sphere, simply merge into space, either outward to the totality of space or inward to the infinite microcosm of space. In your heart center. It all starts and ends in the heart chakra. And you simply sit like you did at the very start of this class tonight by doing nothing whatsoever. Just breathe. Air comes in, air goes out. Then more and more connect simply to the space center of unconditional awareness, which is timeless in the present moment. The recommended dosage of this practice, being Vajrasattva and Vajrayogini for purification, is to say the mantra 108 times each day, which is one round of the mala, or at least 7 or 21 times in a session, and keep track until you have accomplished 111,111 recitations of both the long mantra and the short mantra in practice. Then, post-meditationally, you can choose which deity you want to be for your daily activities, Vajrayogini or Vajrasattva, your choice. And then here on this practice sheet, we have the meditation, which I'm going to read this one. Then we'll do the one on the refuge sheet. This one says, once I become Vajrasattva or Vajrayogini, may every single sentient being in the 6 realms of rebirth be placed in this state of purity and wisdom by the virtue and wisdom of this practice. May all beings have happiness and the cause of happiness. May all beings not have suffering or the cause of suffering. May all beings never be without the supreme bliss which is beyond conditional existence, free of suffering. May all beings live in the great equanimity which is bliss itself, free from all attachment, aversion, pride, illusion, jealousy, anger, fear, anxiety, etc., etc. You have to have a sense of humor. Now we're going to do the dedication prayer on the refuge. So we start with refuge and we end with the dedication of every practice session. First in Sanskrit, down the bottom left. Dewa di nirdu da, chalya jampo drubir ne, jowa ching ting malu pa, Dei sala gopar sho, sanjay kusum nenpai jim ladam, shoni negur nenpai jim ladam, kendum vijay dumbai jim lati, chitar gomam momam, drupar sho. By this virtue, having realized Mahamudra, and I quickly establish all beings without a single exception in that state, by the blessing of the 3 bodies of the Buddha being accomplished, by the blessing of the truth of the Dharma itself being unchanging, and by the blessing of the wishes of us, the Sada, being unwavering, may this and all dedication prayers be fulfilled. May all the lamas have long life, good health, happiness, and prosperity, and may all their wishes be fulfilled. And thank you very much for joining in this practice session tonight. May the results be immediately acquired. Hey, Maho.